Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Big shout out to all the iTrack fam tapping in, man. Once again, if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam. Keep up with the latest and greatest creepy videos, and let's go ahead and jump right into this.
The Bible talks about that our world will become one, all right?
Yeah. The Antichrist, the man of sin, will do that, won't he, for a brief period?
Correct. But let me just take you back to this Shambhala for us. This would really interest you, all right? Okay. It's an ancient cult. It has come in different shapes and forms with different names, but with the same idea. The idea is this. Now this I know will sound to you like it's from space, brother, but believe me, I'm telling you the truth. It teaches, first of all, that higher beings, intelligent beings from space, will one day unite with the consciousness of human beings. It teaches the oneness between these beings and the human race. It also teaches that the day will come, once this force unites with the human race, that the human race will unite into one people, one government, and be led by a man who today, by the way, is somewhere in Europe. Do you recall a few years ago, large ads came out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You're getting the connection.
Messiah is here.
The Messiah is here. Okay, his name was Maitreya.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He is connected to that same cult. It's the same teaching. And if you remember, they said he will soon appear and he will speak to your inner man. Remember that? Okay.
Yeah. Full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times.
It was all over the world.
Yes.
Yeah, everywhere.
Okay. That shows you the kind of influence and money those people must have. Okay. The cult also teaches, now here's the exciting part, all right? The cult also teaches that when this force takes over, that many will oppose it. The punishment for opposing that cult would be removal from the planet.
Ho, 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 ho.
Ho, ho, ho is right.
Someone just pulled the light chain.
Right, okay. Are you following?
This is Satan's way of explaining the rapture when it
Right,
takes place.
brother.
Oh.
Right.
Ay.
You know what, that clip had a whole lot to unpack, but some of the main things that we could take from it is that we're not far from whatever that might look like. A piece of that kind of sounded like a trip to Mars when he spoke about being exiled from the planet. Some creepy stuff going on.
风火雷电破
Somebody, I believe, was mapping the world, was exploring the earth during the Ice Age, and left us ancient maps that show features that only existed during the Ice Age. We have evidence that somebody, as yet unrecognized by archaeology, had the capacity to explore the world and to map the world during the last Ice Age. One of the things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820, and yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail. The Orontius Phineas map. That map shows Antarctica exactly where it should be. Now, what the f*** is it doing on a map drawn in the 1500s, which we know was based on older source maps when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s?
Fascinating yet terrifying facts about the human body. 1. When you smell a fart, you're literally breathing in particles from someone else's poop. If it's so potent that you can taste it, you're ingesting bacteria from that poop. 2. Every day you swallow about 4 liters of your own snot. Third, pregnant people can be allergic to their own skin during pregnancy. 4. Lactose intolerance is a normal gene. Being able to drink milk is a mutation. 5. You mostly breathe out of one nostril at a time, and the dominant nostril switches every hour or so. 6. When you're exhausted and go to bed, your body shuts down faster than usual. That jerk your body makes while you're about to fall asleep is a signal from the brain to ensure you're not dying. 7. Humans are bioluminescent and glow in the dark, but the light we emit is 1,000 times weaker than what our eyes can detect. 8. Your butthole has taste buds, which explains why it burns after eating particularly spicy food. 9. Your jaw and teeth could easily bite off your pinky, but your brain prevents you from doing it. 10. Your bones are constantly regenerating, and you essentially get a new skeleton every 10 years.
And that's why they say you got to cover your toothbrush up when it's in the bathroom, because it's accumulating all those different variety of smells and musk. Nasty.
Okay, look right here. You can see it right there. You see something move, and it's like moving quick up right here. Wait for it, right there. You can see it. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Let's zoom in. All right, let's see. All right. What the fuck? Bruh. What is that? And it looks small. No? Is it just me? Like small, agile, and strong as fuck.
You know what? I think I might just go out on a limb, no pun intended, and say it was those monkeys, because it definitely looked very small. I think I saw a tail, but it wasn't clear enough for me to be definite. So let me know what you think.
So, what is the program? I can't honestly tell you, Rick, what the agenda of the program is. But there's evidence that the program does in fact do things that not only protect America, but have also intervened. For an example, several weeks ago, there was an incident along the East Coast where many people along the East Coast, the eastern seaboard, saw a green flash of material flying through the sky and landing in the ocean. The backside on that is that a cargo ship somewhere in the Atlantic launched a missile to take out Norfolk, Virginia, and that it was a TR-3B that took out the missile.
In the case of the TR-3B Black Manta, it means a craft that uses highly pressurized mercury accelerated by nuclear energy, so the plasma is produced, which in turn creates a field of anti-gravity around the craft. It has an electromagnetic coil at the heart of its motive power system, the result of which is electromagnetic drive that interacts with the Higgs-Boson field at the quantum level. Heady stuff indeed, and definitely something that is probably not common knowledge, or even really provable at this point. So an anti-gravity aircraft doesn't use conventional turbine or rocket engine technology, but instead a propulsion system that creates thrust by generating high-energy plasma.
In the early 2000s, a man named Gary McKinnon hacked the U.S. military and NASA. His goal? To find evidence of a free energy technology that was being hidden from the public and a UFO cover-up. McKinnon claims that he found photos of captured UFOs, documents relating to warships that were in space that are already colonizing the solar system, operated by the U.S. Navy, a list of non-terrestrial officers or naval officers that are operating off the planet. This came to be known as Project Solar Warden, and it's allegedly the U.S. Navy's program for colonizing the galaxy and building a military fleet in space. In 2002, Gary McKinnon was charged by the U.S. for hacking, and he was never extradited because for him to be extradited and testify in court, he would have to testify under oath, which would lead to more leaks of information that the government doesn't want you to know.
If that's true, and I give that a very high probability, then I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. But if you have technology that sophisticated, why are we spending billions of dollars on all this stuff that we don't need? Why don't we put that money back into helping small businesses and build the economy? Why aren't we taking that money to pay off mortgages? Okay, we have, 17, 18 million homes that are empty now in this country? Why aren't we doing something to put homeless people in them? I mean, there's a million things to do. I mean, here we give Wall Street, $10 trillion? And less than 2% of that is actually being loaned back to the citizenry? Enough of that. That isn't going to work.
And the first part of that clip, they show you exactly how, down to every detail, that they know how to build these spaceships, and all these different anti-gravity UAPs. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing. And more times than not, all the things that we see in the sky are all man-made.
Amazing UFO UAP caught on video in the Middle East. This thing absolutely takes off in great speed. There's nothing catching that thing.
Scientists discovered octopuses are basically aliens living among us. They have 3 hearts and blue blood running through their body. 2 hearts pump blood to each of their gills, while the third one circulates it to the rest of their body. When they swim, their third heart actually stops beating. But what's even wilder is their blood color. Unlike our red blood that contains iron, octopus blood contains copper, which turns blue when it binds with oxygen. These creatures' hearts aren't even their coolest feature. They have 9 brains, 1 main brain, and then 8 additional ones, 1 in each arm. Each arm can literally think for itself. Next time you spot an octopus at the aquarium, remember you're looking at one of the most bizarre creatures on Earth. A blue-blooded, 3-hearted, 9-brained marvel of nature.
I promise you, in the back of my mind, anytime I look at an octopus, I'm always thinking, like, if I had to describe an alien, it would look exactly like an octopus.
Have you listened to the Telepathy tapes?
No.
You haven't?
I haven't listened to it.
It's a new podcast that's out. And it's all about this scientific research that was done with nonverbal autistic kids and their parents. And they were able to go into another room and they would bring up things to one, whether it was, I think they'd bring things up to the mom or the mom would say things. But the kid was accurate 95% of the time.
Wow.
With numbers, with colors.
Yeah.
Like 3 numbers in a row.
Yeah.
Like, you know how crazy that is? Just to guess 3 numbers in a row 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is, they think it's real. I'm only on episode 2. So, but it's really fascinating, man, because it's a dismissed thing. It's a woo-woo thing.
Sure.
But if it's real, shouldn't scientists study it like it's real? And it seems like through scientific study, it's real.
Yeah. I think it's definitely, you've probably experienced it. I've experienced it.
I think it's an emerging part of human consciousness that we don't we don't agree to or we don't admit to. Like, we know there's something there, but we're not like, that's too silly. It's just, there's so many people that fake it. That's the problem.
Right.
Because everybody, like, wants to have some special thing that they have.
My son said to me, I can hear thoughts. And I said, impossible. And he said to me, you don't get the kind of gifts that I have if you lie.
Let's please multiply two numbers and see if he gets it.
Okay, what is it?
9, 0, 0.
Unbelievable.
1.
Maybe shuffle again, Dr. Powell. Oh, wait.
Plus 2.
So he got the plus, too.
Hey, if there ever was a podcast I'm definitely interested in watching, it's that one.
What in the world is going on?
Hey, you can't tell me China didn't crack the code on those bird drones. That thing looked legit.
I have a question. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Right? It's got like little wings or whatever. I saw it. I thought it was like a flower petal, but clearly it's not.
Okay, this is crazy. Look.
Hi, I thought this was an egg. Look at it. It's a mushroom. Strange. The most obvious fey trap I have ever seen.
I'm gonna go touch it.
No, Maria, you're gonna get kidnapped.
Now, I would argue it's part of an ancient metaphysical system that was passed on after the flood. But, you know, we'll get into that. You can make up your own mind. What is very apparent, it is quite ubiquitous and quite specific. And you find it in really specific places, like over the temple gates. You find this kind of strange megalithic building with these knobs all around the world. Androgynous Viracocha is engaged in this posture. Peru and Egypt, many similarities. 2 snakes, 1 snake, God self icon. Above the doorways, esoteric traditions, the Freemasons and Rosicrucians kind of esoterically transmitted this knowledge in secret throughout the Dark Ages, so they wouldn't be burned to death, basically. And it shows the same iconography that I'm talking about, this balance of the opposites. In fact, recently in India, they found this God self icon, the oldest one in the world. The discovery of rock carvings believed to be tens of thousands of years old greatly excited archaeologists who believe they hold clues to a previously unknown civilization. Now, they didn't pick up on the fact that it's a God self icon. Richard did, but just another interesting corroborative piece of evidence.
This remote viewer explains why he got into remote viewing.
I actually saw The Men Who Stare at Goats. In the beginning of that movie, there's a tagline that it starts with, and it says, "More of this is true than you would believe." And that hit me like a freight train. When I saw that, and then I watched the movie, I thought, I have got to learn more about this remote viewing. I went to the library the next day, and I got Joe McMonagle's book, Remote Viewing Secrets, and I read it cover to cover, and I was a little disappointed. It didn't teach me how to do it. So I was like, I need to learn how to do this. A week later, I was at the bookstore. If you've ever had a book jump off the shelf at you, I had one of those experiences. It's like somebody grabbed my eye, pulled me up here to the corner where David Morehouse's book. I bought that book, read it cover to cover twice, and I tried my first session.
Now, when they come out with the part 2 and he tells me that he learned it just from reading the book, I might be skeptical. I thought that was the kind of gift that manifested itself real early in life, and you kind of born with a strong sense of it. You know, you don't just go into a library and read a book about it and now you know how to do it. Pretty sure that's not how it works, but let me know if I'm wrong.
I don't think most people understand what I'm about to say anyway.
Can you explain quantum entanglement communications?
Yes, I don't think most people understand what I'm about to say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
Did you know CIA mind control experts use a 3-word phrase to instantly hack someone's thoughts? It's called embedded command priming, where they hide suggestions inside normal conversations by slightly emphasizing specific words. Your brain subconsciously picks up these commands without realizing it. For example, saying "that's a great choice" while nodding makes your target more likely to agree. Here's the crazy part. You've been exposed to this technique hundreds of times today without even knowing it.
You can go from New York to Brazil, Buenos Aires, and then Antarctica without ever coming up to the surface for air. And you can do it all at way more than 1,000 miles an hour on magnetic levitation trains, otherwise called maglev. One thing he told me, he went from Virginia to Los Angeles in 45 minutes. Do the math, 3,000 miles an hour. Most people don't even believe that there's a tunnel network. There are there are hundreds of thousands of miles of tunnel systems.
Hey, you know what? I totally believe that. I just wish they would let me in on it because it sounds a lot safer than the planes are.
New Jersey officials are warning drivers about delays because of this, a massive sinkhole. Look at the size of that. Yesterday, this opened up along Interstate 80. It's about 40 miles west of New York City. State transportation officials quickly shut down this section of the highway to work on repairs. They say this hole measures about 40 feet by 40 feet. You can see that guardrail in the center dangling over the pit. And no word yet on what caused it. Here's the good news. No injuries reported.
The lawyer, I mean, he's doing the cases. P. Diddy's not getting out. And no, Trump will not be pardoning P. Diddy. Please. Jay-Z, learn how to spell the word psychic. Shout out to Jay-Z. Psychic. You spelt it incorrectly. Some of us psychics know shit. When we get shit, we know shit. But you spelt it incorrectly, Jay-Z. Yeah, and if it's not proof to you that his wife, baby Beyonce, whatever it is, she changed her name back to her maiden name. Why? Aren't you supposed to stick with your husband through thick and thin? I'm just asking, what do I know? But she changed her name. I personally didn't change my name in my divorce because my kids carry my married last name. So she's changing her name now. Wow. Why is she doing that? What? I know. Spell it right? Why is she doing that? Exactly. Why? Just asking. So, yeah, no, probably lied to her. Yeah, okay, no, he didn't lie to her. Okay, this is something, I'm going to say this. It's going to offend a lot of fucking people. So, one of the women I knew in the group home that I stayed in for 8 months. So, when I got caught by the police, I was court ordered into a group home. She dealt with 12 girls in her home. She had 3 of her own kids, and most of us were in there for things like sexual abuse in the home. There were prostitutes in the home. There were all of those kinds of things. She's like, yeah, the mother always knows. The mother doesn't want to see. Bebe knows. She knows everything, unless you're telling me she's dumb as a brick. Is she dumb as a brick? Yeah. That's it. I know, Kathy White. Here's Aurora K. Here's how you gain the attitude of not caring. Stop caring. Stop caring.
I definitely looked up to see if she was capping about Beyonce changing her name, and they say she changed her name and it has something to do with Forbes. But it's odd enough. If they're not divorced yet, that is kind of odd. I ain't gonna lie.
If I told you that when these celebrities freeze on camera, it's more than just a simple, awkward moment. Think about it. Young, healthy stars suddenly lock up mid-sentence. Their eyes glaze over, their bodies stiffen, and they completely check out for several seconds. And that's when either their handler comes to take them away, or the production team cuts the camera and switches to another shot. No medical explanation, no signs of a stroke or seizure. So, what's really happening? We all know humans freeze for two major reasons: during extreme fear or when under a true hypnosis. Both are critical components of trauma-based mind control. And here's where it gets disturbing. These celebrities might not even realize it's happening at this point. Imagine this: through intense trauma, a person's brain can become fractured, literally shattered into pieces as a defense mechanism. Each fragment is like a separate personality, ready to be programmed, break a mind down with fear and pain, and then reprogram them into whatever you want. These fragments could be triggered by specific words, sounds, or gestures, a technique perfected in covert psychological experiments. And here's where it gets dark. When you see a celebrity freeze on camera, you might actually be watching a programming glitch. A word or sound might have triggered a fragment of their mind that's been conditioned to respond in a specific way. They freeze, caught between fragments of their own shattered consciousness, recalling the extreme fear and pain they endured during their programming. Think about the industries that create these stars. They thrive on control, manipulation, and spectacle. These celebrities are often isolated, overworked, a lot of the time playing multiple roles, and subjected to immense pressure. Behind the scenes, they're groomed and conditioned to serve a purpose that goes far beyond entertainment. Their fame is a tool, their lives a carefully curated illusion. So, the next time you see a clip of a celebrity freezing, don't just laugh or dismiss it as a strange moment. Think about what programming might be buried beneath their polished exterior. These moments aren't just accidents. They're a glimpse into a system so dark and sophisticated, most people can't even fathom its existence. I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
That's a shocking fact. Do you know that 2,000 people a year die by taking one Tylenol? Just in America. Forget around the world, just in America. Over 2,000 people every year die by taking a Tylenol because the Tylenol breaks down and shuts down the liver. So in rare instances, 2,000 times a year, a person will take a Tylenol. The Tylenol will adversely affect the liver. The person has a pre-existing condition maybe. And then the person dies from the Tylenol. Tylenol is used for pain. No one dies from a headache. Oh, I got pain in my shoulder. No one dies from that. But 2,000 people die from the Tylenol. So more people die from taking pharmaceutical drugs than from the diseases they're being used to treat.
I know a whole lot of people had no clue about that. Don't even cap. It's pretty wild, though.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. This wanted fugitive from an Ohio case 20 years ago was found working as a police officer. The New Zealand airport just put a 3-minute time limit on all goodbye hugs. A couple made guests buy $300 tickets to attend their wedding. This woman ran over her boyfriend while going to couples therapy. A family was told that their daughter had checked out of a hospital, but in reality, she had passed away. An Alaska Airlines flight was turned around after the pilot admitted that he was not certified to land the plane. An AI model changed its own code in order to give itself more time. A 3D printed community in Texas is almost finished. A man threatened a Burger King worker after not taking drugs as payment and got 143 years in prison. A Chipotle employee says that their boss chased him out with a gun for not taking out the trash. Utility companies in Louisiana want state regulators to allow them to fine customers for lost profits from energy efficiency initiatives.
Breaking news. Half of Canada says yes to becoming the 51st state. You heard that right. Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank star and Canadian billionaire, just dropped a bombshell. He's ready to broker a deal to merge Canada with the US. And get this, he claims that half of Canadians are actually on board. Yup, no joke. So here's the wild idea. What if Canada, instead of just sipping maple syrup and playing hockey, joined the United States? Imagine the power of combining two of the world's largest economies and wiping out the border. O'Leary's got the vision. Think common currency, no border hassles, and all that natural resource power right up against Russia and China. But hold on, this isn't all just about the economy. Trump's been pushing the idea for a while now, calling Canada a future state, and even teasing Justin Trudeau about becoming the governor of this new 51st state. Awkward, right? And O'Leary's ready to get to Mar-a-Lago to get things rolling. He says, trust me, 41 million Canadians want this. Now here's where it gets spicy. Trump claims Canadian taxes are too high and that businesses would boom if they joined the US. Imagine paying 60% less in taxes and having military protection like no other nation. It's almost too good to be true. What do you think? Is this a genius move to protect North America? Or is it just a crazy pipe dream? Hit the comments and let's talk about whether you'd be cool with Canada becoming part of the USA. Should Trudeau pack his bags? Let me know.
Hey, Trump just might be onto something though. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
To do what I thought was a talk to like bankers or something at a resort, and instead of me going out on stage to do a talk, they brought these 5 guys into the green room who started peppering me with all these questions about the digital future, Bitcoin or Ethereum and augmented reality or virtual reality. I figured it was one of these things where it's just these 5 billionaires looking for, investment strategies from someone who's on the ground in the cyber revolution. And eventually they got around to the question of, Alaska or New Zealand. Right? So they wanted to know mainly how to prepare for the inevitable collapse of society. And the question we spent most of the time on was, how do I maintain control of my security force after the event? Because their money's going to be worthless and these guys will turn on them. And it just struck me that here are the wealthiest and most powerful man I've ever encountered, yet they feel utterly powerless to influence the digital future, that the best they can do is prepare for the inevitable collapse and, insulate themselves from the reality that they're creating by earning money in the way they're earning it. And it was sad, but it was indicative of the way these folks are thinking. The high-level billionaires, like the Elon Musks and Jeff Bezos, they want to get off the planet altogether, really just leave us behind. But the mid-level billionaires who can't afford rocket ships, they want to build, bunkers and secret communities and get robot guards and to protect themselves from the rest of us.
So the Pope opens up the holy door to the tomb of Lucifer or whoever the hell. I know Lucifer is an angel. He doesn't have a tomb, but that's what we were going with 2 weeks ago. But the Pope opens up the holy door and they live streamed it. And guess what he found on the other side of that door? A camera. A camera pointed directly at his face. This tomb has not been opened in 25 years. So that camera crew is from 1999. And I gotta say, 1999 technology's held up pretty well. I mean, it's high definition, baby. I mean, what have they survived on for the past 25 years, waiting for the Holy Father to open the door for them, to let them out? Did you see all the stuff they had to do to get the door open. They had to take hammers and crowbars and break open a block and remove the key and all that shit, just so they could rescue these cameramen who definitely didn't slip in before the Pope opened the door so they could set up the perfect shot, right? No, the Pope rescued these people. That's what I'm going with. The Pope is a hero. Or there's actually another theory here that nobody's really paying attention to. What if the Vatican used their secret technology that they talk about on all those other conspiracy theory channels? I'm sure they have some kind of portal technology that can portal in the camera crew. This video's for entertainment purposes only. I'm just kidding. We're just joking. They definitely opened the door and let the camera crew slip in first and then just get the money shot, right? That's definitely what they did. Damn it, man.
24 and 95. Well, next year's not your year. You're my Capricorn brother, but next year's not your year. Lay low. It is what it is. It's someone born in the pig year. 8/27, 1983. You gotta lay low too. It's your enemy year. Again, 95, 83, 71, 59. I don't make the rule. Imagine you're driving. I'm just telling you there's a pothole ahead. So you're gonna slowly drive around it. Yeah, you're gonna lose some time. You're not gonna be as fast and as efficient, but you gotta go around the pothole. It is what it is. February 29, 2004. Old Soul. If you're living in America, that should be the nation. Monkeys benefit in monkey nations. America was founded 1776. Let's go. Romantic life, divorced 3 years. Ugh. You know, listen, go with the compatibilities. Yeah, you're a tiger, man. It's tough for tiger women. And let's not forget, you're an attractive woman because you're a 5, but you have a lot of 1 energy and tiger energy, which makes you very masculine. So it would be very difficult for guys to deal with a woman who is that masculine, even though you're highly attractive. It's just one of those type of deals. Tigers do best with tigers. Be with the tiger. It is what it is. January 17th, very, very karmic. Next year's your year, obviously a snake. You know, it's one thing to be eventual, but as an 11, gotta cool it down sometimes. It is what it is.
Scientists have created an artificial brain cell called an iontronic memristor that mimics human brain synapses using salt and water. Developed by researchers from Utrecht University and Sogang University, this breakthrough merges biology with electronics, marking a step forward in iontronics. The device uses charged ions in a water solution to transmit electrical signals, similar to the human brain's synaptic functions. Shaped like a tiny cone, it measures only 150 by 200 micrometers and can remember past electrical charges, showcasing synaptic plasticity, an essential feature of human neurons. Although still in early stages, the iontronic memristor offers a promising path toward creating computers that mimic the brain's processing abilities while being relatively easy and inexpensive to produce. It could also enhance machine learning, allowing devices to process and learn tasks in ways similar to human neurons, opening doors for advancements in artificial intelligence, robotics, and neural networks. The memristor's ability to remember past electrical charges could lead to energy-efficient, self-learning systems in areas such as autonomous vehicles, personalized medicine, and even brain-computer interfaces. Its simple and cost-effective production may make it a key component in building accessible, scalable neuromorphic computers that bring us closer to replicating the human brain's processing capabilities, potentially transforming how we approach complex problem-solving and human-machine collaboration. Scientists have discovered a new type of cell in mice, named endomac progenitors. These cells were predicted over a century ago, but have only now been identified. They play a crucial role in forming new blood vessels in response to injury or inadequate blood flow. The researchers cultured these cells in the lab and injected them into diabetic mouse models, which resulted in improved wound healing, suggesting they could be transformative for treating chronic wounds. Apart from contributing to wound healing, these newly identified cells appear to play a role in generating macrophages, immune cells that eliminate harmful microorganisms, clear away dead cells, and activate other components of the immune system. Previously, macrophages were thought to be renewed by bone marrow-derived stem cells. However, recent evidence suggests that new macrophages may come from these long undiscovered progenitor cells. The researchers are now investigating whether similar cells exist in humans, with initial findings indicating potential. If confirmed, this could revolutionize treatments for patients with chronic wounds and other vascular issues. Discovering similar cells in humans could have far-reaching benefits, particularly for those suffering from chronic wounds, cardiovascular diseases, and conditions linked to impaired blood flow, such as diabetic ulcers or ischemic injuries. brains. By harnessing the regenerative potential of these progenitor cells, it may be possible to develop targeted therapies that promote faster and more effective tissue repair, reducing the need for invasive procedures or prolonged medication use.
Scientists created synthetic human embryos using stem cells. The embryos developed to a stage equivalent to that of natural embryos about 14 days after fertilization. These lab-grown embryo models offer insights into genetic disorders and recurring miscarriages. The embryo-like structures were grown from single human embryonic stem cells that were coaxed to develop into 3 distinct tissue layers. Although lacking a beating heart or developed brain, these models contain cells that typically form the placenta, yolk sac, and embryo. Researchers hope these model embryos will shed light on the black box of human development, the period following 14 days after fertilization, which is the agreed limit for scientists to grow and study embryos in a lab. However, it raises ethical and legal concerns as the current legislation does not cover these synthetic entities in the UK and most other countries. The 14-day rule was established for ethical and technical reasons. Scientists lack the necessary technology to sustain embryos beyond this time frame, and there is also a moral justification for the 14-day limit. Beyond this point, the cells within the embryo start to specialize and develop into crucial bodily systems, such as the gastrointestinal tract, brain, and respiratory organs.
I mean, America's IQ has dropped pretty low in the past 5 to 10 years. So instead of trying to figure out how to raise that up, they're creating all kind of robots and AI so that the people stay at home, and that IQ is about to drop even more. So it's if you're really looking into what's going on, man, it's getting pretty wild. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books. I appreciate you guys stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. We got one more day left of the year. We're so close to 100K, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for stopping by, man, and just, keeping up with me. If you haven't already, go and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Join the Odd Track fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.